Yeah, thank you, Dr. Metcalf. Thank you, Board Chair Carter, Dr. Bob. I'm pleased to give you some information about the Connect Virtual Academy. I'm not sure that our slide has advanced. At least on my screen it has not. There we go. Thank you very much. So yes, I'm very pleased to give you some information about this option. As Dr. Metcalf said, the purpose of the Connect Academy is really twofold. The first is to establish that virtual option for families who prefer not to send their kids back face-to-face this fall. But in addition to that, we want to establish, once it is established, we want to maintain this as an ongoing option for all Moore County school families. I do want to note that very important that the deadline for registration, it was the 23rd, and we decided to extend that to July the 28th based on today's presentation, today's information, to give families more time to digest Plan B and also to digest the information I'm about to share with you about the Connect Academy. I do want to note these three sites. These are really important. All the information about the Connect Academy is going to be uploaded and sent to www.ncmcs.org/connect. There are FAQs on there. There's information. The communications department is going to give me the video from today, as well as today's slides. I'll upload to that spot as well. The direct link to register is that same ncmcs.org/connect registration. And this is something else that we've added. I want to make sure that families and the board are aware of. We're also offering an opportunity in this next week for families to cancel their registration. So based on new information today, if they've learned about Plan B and they would prefer to go back to Plan B, there's a process there for that as well. And so that's at Connect Cancel after ncmcs.org. So to give you a kind of update on where we are as far as enrollment for the Virtual Academy, our current enrollment is, as of this morning at about 8:30 a.m., is at 1,259 students. You can see that it's spread pretty evenly throughout our grade bands, K through 12. Some of this information I'm going to share with you, Donna Geffart has really done a great job of talking about remote instruction and the teachers, Patsy and the others, as far as what it looks like in the classroom. And so just to align that, I just want to reiterate that students in the Virtual Academy will receive all their traditional supports and services virtually. And so that includes AIG, that includes ESL, intervention. Obviously, our exceptional children's students will be a priority there as well. And so I want to make sure that the families listening and the board is aware that all those services will be provided by Moore County Schools qualified teachers. Also, that students will be receiving a device as part of the Virtual Academy. That will be something that we issue. Donna talked about the Wi-Fi and our understanding of our families that some do not have Wi-Fi at home, and some families even provided a hotspot, still have difficulty connecting, and so we will take care of them just as Donna described earlier. I do want to reiterate here on this slide that enrollment in the Virtual Academy is a commitment for the entire fall semester. So that's August 17th to December the 18th. That is really important that we keep that commitment for that entire fall semester. And also it's important that we understand that once you are enrolled and once that commitment has been made, we're not going to allow transfers between the two options, Plan B back to Virtual Academy or Virtual Academy back to Plan B. The primary reason for that is the logistics of staffing and keeping consistency, and really it's best practices for students to keep that consistency with the teacher throughout that fall semester. Moving on to instruction and structure. I want to reiterate right off the bat here that relationships are always number one. In a face-to-face classroom, in a virtual classroom, relationships will always be our top priority. We understand fully that these times have had a tough time for our students, social and emotional needs, and so not just academically, but students that connect with the Virtual Academy, we're going to stress the importance of connecting and making those relationships and checking in with students. We've also want to make sure that, as Donna kind of stated earlier, that we've learned a lot from the spring and that the increase in rigor and expectations are going to be there as well for the Virtual Academy students, as opposed to how we ended up in the spring. And one note I do want to underline here is that the question was asked earlier about pacing and standards and alignment between the remote option in Plan B and also the virtual academy. I do want to underline that that is going to be aligned very closely. We don't want to get off track with our alignment so that in the second semester, when students do have the opportunity to come back face-to-face, they're hitting the ground running in their same alignment as their face-to-face counterparts. Moving on to the next slide, I do want to spend a little bit of more time on this particular slide, just because this was some of the main questions that we've gotten in the past week. We've had the open portal option. We've had folks calling in and asking a lot of questions. And so these were the main questions that we wanted to answer for our community. First and foremost is course commitments. Is in the virtual academy, what are we committing to offer? And so for K-8, that is our core content. And so we are committed to offering ELA, social studies, science, math in grades K through 8. One question that has popped up is for 8th graders, will world history, students that are enrolled in world history or math 1 as 8th graders, will they be able to continue with that? And the answer to that is yes, that will be included with those K-8 offerings. For 9-12, we will also do the same core graduation requirements for grades 9 through 12. And I did want to answer this question. I just got a email during this presentation. I got an email about this question. Yes, this will include honors and AP courses as part of the virtual academy. That will be a part of our offerings. And beyond that, depending on staffing and how we work this puzzle of matching students to staff, we will try and make every effort that we can to offer electives and special courses for these students. And when we have more information on the staffing and the students and the numbers and that match, we'll be able to offer more information on what we'll be able to offer as far as the full slate of courses. Another big question we've received is teachers. Where are the teachers coming from, and where will my student's teacher be coming from? Will they be placed at our home school? And so our commitment is to try and get the teachers as close to the home school as possible. Again, largely this depends on staffing numbers and where we're getting that information from HR as far as staff that are taking a part with the virtual academy. Our first priority for staffing for this virtual academy will come from our teachers that are unable to return to the classroom face-to-face. And so that is where our first pool of resources of teachers will be pulled from for this. So I want to make the commitment as well on July 28th, after that deadline, that is when we will kick into high gear and really work to get those classes scheduled, get those teachers assigned, and get those students into their classes. This next bullet is a change from last meeting, and that is that virtual students will be able to participate in athletics and extracurricular activities at their home school. That was based on feedback that we have gotten from the community, and we took that back, and senior staff wrestled with that question and affirmed that yes, we will be able to offer those opportunities to our virtual academy students. The last thing here on this slide is if the district moves to Plan C. So Dr. Metcalf at the beginning mentioned that we're going to be very flexible, as we've had to be for months now. And so if the governor or we're directed to go back, or the board decides to go to Plan C, the question has come up, would we then take our virtual academy students and disperse them out and redisperse them among classes? And that is not the plan of what we would do. Again, for consistency with teacher, to make sure that we have those relationships built, we would hate to break that in the middle. And so we would write out that first semester with our course and student assignments as we have laid out at the beginning. My next slide here is my final slide, or next to final slide. I'm not going to go through all this because it aligns very much with what the teachers and Donna had stated earlier. We are going to mirror the remote learning aspects from our face-to-face and Plan B portion with our virtual academy. So the times that you're seeing on this slide are exactly the same times as you saw earlier. Just reiterated, we have learned a lot about remote learning. Our DIST has supported it, our C&I team. We've learned from our teachers at summer curriculum, from being hands-on and getting with those teachers. And so basically, I just want to assure you that we're going to follow best practices for virtual learning. What that does not mean is that students are in front of a device all day. It does not mean that it's going to be purely online. There are going to be a mixture of online and offline activities, and hands-on will still be a piece, especially in the younger grades. We're not going to have a kindergartner, first grade, second grader sign up and be sitting in front of a computer all day. That is just not best practices at all. And so that is how we will structure that. And we've also learned a lot about how students can inform the process along the way. And so we're going to have teachers making sure that they're reaching out to their students and getting a personalized feel for how they like their delivery of instruction, what are the times that are best for them to meet for small groups, and really be flexible in that area as well. So final thoughts is just basically, we are very excited about this. This is something that we've been planning and developing. It's actually been on our docket to develop for about a year and a half. And we had planned on developing this out this year. And so we're excited to get a jump start on that. People have asked me, you guys may or may not know I'm a fairly easygoing guy. You know, not a lot stresses me out, but this is quite a monumental task. And people are asking me, why are you so confident about this task? And the reason is because I watched what our teachers did in the spring. They absolutely rocked it out. They were fantastic. They turned on a dime. I witnessed my friends and family, other school districts, and you can be very proud of how our teachers and our support staff supported us in that switch in the spring. And even since the spring, we have learned so much more about how to make this work and make it happen for what's best for students. And so I'm really excited about the opportunity to get moving and support our students and our teachers through this. And the last thing I'll just say is this is an iterative process. As you know, in the district, we do a lot of iterative processes, improvement all the time. As we get rolling with this, we want to make sure that we are contacted and in full connection with our students and our parents to make sure that we improve this as we go. This isn't going to be a one and done, here it is. It's going to be a weekly, bi-weekly improvement process as we go.